Good evening, Mr. Shinde. How are you doing today?
Good evening, sir. Namaste.
Mr. Shinde, I always come up with some new problems and new questions for you. I've got a new one for you this time. Tell me, one popular reason that you have come across due to which some people remain unmarried for the rest of their life. What could it be?
Based on the experience in my clientele, especially the unmarried segment, I have observed, studied, and learned that a lot of people, despite the fact that they are actually interested in getting married somewhere deep within, they remain unmarried because they go through a lot of struggles right from a very young age, at the personal front, at the financial front, problems related to family, problems related to parents, problems related to education, career, various other difficulties that can attack a person from all directions, which somewhere causes a childhood trauma. And sometimes the struggle even after coming out of college continues, until they become 40s and 30s, either at the financial front, professional front, or various matters at the home front or the parental front, whatever. All these struggles can actually become an obstacle in somebody getting married, because people deep within get so exhausted, so fed up of struggling in their lives, that they somewhere lose the motivation, the inclination, and the interest and the mood to get married. And then they are apprehensive that the situations in their life are not changing for the better, as a result of which it is better to remain unmarried and to continue to live with all these struggles all their life. So it is very unfortunate to see there are so many handsome men, beautiful ladies, talented men, talented ladies, well qualified from good families, but because of these immense struggles in their lives, they remain unmarried, unfortunately.
Basically, a lot of struggles in life, in short.
Yeah.
But what about their mental conditions? Do they cause some people to remain unmarried?
Yes, you see, there are some people that I have noticed who have low self esteem, low self confidence, or low self worth. Okay, as a result of that, they are afraid of getting into some kind of a relationship. Their relationship refers to can a marriage, or can refer to even a romantic relationship. See, sometimes this low self worth or this low self esteem, low self confidence is somewhere connected with social anxiety, social phobia, elements of mental health disorders. As a result of it, some people find it very difficult to attract with people of the opposite gender and get into a relationship prior to marriage or after marriage as well. As a result of which, they again decide not to get into any mental engagement.
What about prolonged loneliness or solitude or
Yeah, you see,
independence?
yes, you see, due to certain family problems or childhood trauma or due to certain struggles, there are a lot of people who get into the mode of remaining, of being in solitude, or being very lonely, things like that. And then they get so used to that being lonely and solitude, that after some time it becomes very difficult for them to accept the fact that somebody will come and share their space.
Basically, it's
the
more
world.
of prolonged independence or being individualistic, probably.
See, actually, there are some people who are that solitude, who are in that solitude mode, or in that loneliness mode. But there is another category of people who are very, very independent minded and very, very individualistic. This is a little separate thing. Sometimes it can be connected with solitude and loneliness
Yes.
factor as well. There are some people who just enjoy being independent. They
I
don't
know.
like getting commitment. They know that marriage involves a lot of commitment. There are some people who want things to happen as per their whims and fancies at all fronts of their life. They are worried that if they get into a marital relationship, somebody else might come and the things may not go as per their whims and fancies. That is being individualistic from some perspective. So this also actually causes a lot of people to remain unmarried.
And in your personal life, have you come across people who have remained unmarried due to a failed romantic relationship or maybe a heartbreak?
In fact, interestingly, there are a large number of people who have remained unmarried because of a romantic relationship that has failed, which in simple words we call it a heartbreak. There are some people who take this romantic relationship failure or a heartbreak so seriously, it penetrates so deep inside their emotional and psychological system that they just don't heal. They just don't come out of it and they live with it, and they're just not able to get into some kind and another move on, get into an another relationship and move on. Yeah, you come across a lot of people like this. Yes.
And what about increasing marital discords in today's world? Does it lead to some people staying unmarried?
Yeah, you see, in some of my past videos, I have said that we have moved into an era, or we have moved into a world where, especially in India, where there are a lot of marital discords in large number, whether it is the urban society, the semi-urban society, or the rural society. People who have come to a marriageable age, when they get exposed or subjected to a large number of marital discord, from in the lives of people from all walks of life, it somewhere negatively influences them, and they start developing a thought that when there are so many marital discords, it is likely that such situations can happen in our life. So therefore it is better to not get committed to somebody and get married and things like that. And one more thing I want to tell you, sometimes there are some people who have grown up in families where they have seen very severe marital discord between their parents. And when there is a long-term marital discord between the parents, that has even a larger impact on the children's mind.
Correct.
And after a certain point of time, they say, we always saw our parents fighting in very intense friction.
So we don't want to get married.
So it is better we don't get married. See what imprint childhood trauma can leave on a person's mind. It's very difficult for it to get erased.
True.
Or for that to get healed.
Very true.
In some cases it does.
Very true. And lastly, physical health related matters. Maybe somebody has an erectile dysfunction, somebody has cancer. Does that lead to remaining unmarried?
Yes, you see.
Sexual performances, basically.
Yeah. Now, the thing is like that. See, there are some people who have a physical disability. Let us say, the hands, and what is physical disability all about. There are some people who have a mental disability. It is very natural for them to have a thought that how can we get married with this physical disability, when your limbs or hands are not working or the body is not properly functional. Some people are mentally challenged, which we call as being mentally disabled. So it is not only for the people with mental and physical disability, but for their parents also, to develop a thought that how can, in such a condition, is it really appropriate to get into a relationship and get married? Can you fulfill the commitments and the joy of a relationship? So it is true that physical health conditions create that kind of problem. But one particular thing which you mentioned, there are a lot of people who have come to a marriageable age, or they are in their 30s and 40s. They have a problem related to the health pertinent to their reproductive system, especially with men in many cases.
Erectile dysfunction, basically.
Situations like erectile dysfunction or low fertility situation, which they are aware of or the parents are aware of, and for some reason it is that reproductive malfunctioning is not getting treated, that can stop them from getting married and result in an unmarried situation as such.
Great. Thank you. This was very interesting, Mr. Shinde. I hope you have a good evening.
Namaste, sir. Thank you.